Blog Talk Radio, the world's largest online radio network.
Once again, you're tuned in live to your 15 Minutes Radio. We are so excited for today. As many of you know, I'm usually here on Tuesday, but you got me here for today. And, of course, I had to be here. We have such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful young man with us today to talk about his upcoming film, Won't Back Down. But before we get into that great interview, we want to thank you guys for continuously, we love you for making us number one in our category. We're so excited about the things that are going on here at Your 15 Minutes Radio Network. We have so many great guests coming up in addition to the one we'll be speaking with today. You guys have just shown us that you love us. You really do love us, and we certainly appreciate it. We appreciate the time that you've taken to choose us. We consider ourselves like the yellow pages. Once you made your decision, you come to us, to listen to the shows and really get the information that will assist you in taking your business to the next level. So thank you so much. We love you. And as they say, there is nothing you can do about it. But we are not going to delay. We're not going to delay. We have such a wonderful actor here today, and we're going to talk about his film again, Won't Back Down. And we're so excited because, the actor, many of you know him after playing memorable characters in such major television series as Law & Order, CSI Miami, as well as Detective John Basil on HBO's hit series Oz, with his role as Lieutenant Cedric Daniels on HBO's most critically acclaimed show, The Wire, Lance Reddick. He is finding that the public perception of him is changing. The serious actor has transformed from a respected character into something of a leading man. In addition to lead and featured roles in such films as I Dreamed of Africa, The Siege, Brother to Brother, and Bad City, as well as his leading role in the Fox series Fringe, it's a measure of Lance's extraordinary skill and focus that he is emerging as a refreshing star. So sit back and relax and hold tight as we speak with Mr. Lance Reddick. How are you, sir?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you? It's just really a pleasure to be here.
Oh, I am wonderful. Thank you so much for taking a moment to be here. We know you are extremely busy because not only is your film coming out, but your season of Fringe is coming out as well on the 28th.
Yeah, well, it's funny because a few different things are happening on the 28th. Won't Back Down is premiering. It's also the season premiere of Fringe, and it'll either be on the 28th or soon after. There's a skit that I did for collegehumor.com that'll also be available online.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you're all over the place in a good way with so many different projects. How do you manage all of that? I mean, it's so much, and I'm sure it pulls a lot of your time away. How do you manage that?
Well, it is a challenge, especially given that I think that well, first of all, one of the things that I'm starting to do now a lot is try to move more into producing, because I've just found that as my career has progressed, particularly since The Wire, particularly as a character actor of color, I've had to really, if I want to continue to have the kind of career that I want, and to have the kind of roles that I want, I'm going to have to try to create them myself. So, in answer to your question, the truth is I don't do it alone. I have a fantastic manager and publicist, and a fantastic wife who really helped me coordinate everything.
And that is awesome. That is awesome to hear. I love the fact that there is a team that is surrounding you, and that's one of the things that we encourage our listeners to know, that no matter what you're doing in your life, whatever that dream is, whatever that passion is, you're going to need help. You cannot do it all alone.
That's absolutely
there has
true.
to be an us somewhere. Now, you spoke about producing films, and you have a company called YNC Films, and just want to talk about that. You want to produce small, multi-ethnic, artistically sophisticated, and socially complex films that are talent-driven rather than star-driven. Give us more insight into that.
Well, I think YNC Films actually has kind of fallen by the wayside. Right now, I'm operating under my production company, Chris Day Productions, and right now I did the first film that I produced, or I co-produced actually, was with Danny DeVito and the writer Bruce Terrace, and it's called Saint Sebastian, and it's a film that we shot back in December in the middle of the fourth season of Fringe, so it was kind of a hectic time. But it's a small independent film that I star in along with William Fichtner and Constance Zimmer, so Danny's in the middle of editing that now. He said he should be done in another month or so for us to see a rough cut. So I'm really excited about that. Bruce Terrace, the writer, he and I also have co-produced a pilot with another producer. Not a pilot, but a presentational series pilot, a cable show, also starring William Fichtner, that we're going to be shopping once we're finished editing that. And then I've got a couple other films that I'm attached to, and to act and to produce that I don't feel at liberty to go into right now.
Okay, that's fine.
One we're still looking for financing, and the other we're waiting for it to be greenlit by the studio.
And we understand that. We don't want you to tell any secrets. Well, maybe a few, but not on those projects. We'll let you have it and wait till next time that you come back. But you're also doing a web series, which is really, really getting a lot of looks, and I love that.
I'd almost forgotten about that.
No, you can't forget about it.
Oh, it's terrible. My manager would shoot me for even saying that. Actually, I'm very excited about that. The first two episodes have gotten a lot of positive response. It's called Drone, and I'm also in addition to starring in it, I'm also co-producing that with the writer-director Bobby Glickert and the hands-on producer Clark Baker and the executive producer Justin Lin. And its third episode it's 6 episodes. Its third episode is going to air on the Yum F channel on YouTube on Thursday, this coming Thursday, and I can't remember the exact time. But if you check YouTube, it'll tell you. And it's a science fiction piece. It's set in the future, in the near future, and it's about this basically mercenary organization, kind of like Blackwater, that not only provides mercenaries, human mercenaries, but also robotic drone mercenaries that are faster and stronger than human beings. And it's about this drone that's out in the field in the Middle East that goes rogue. And it's about kind of why that happens and what we have to do to get it back. And I play the guy who's the head of the organization.
How did you transition, because you're everywhere, as we stated earlier, you're doing so many different things, and I absolutely love it because I believe in merchandising, I believe in branding and being everywhere that you can be. And this web series, they're really emerging. I think it's an emerging market. More and more people are getting into the web series. What drew you to that genre?
Well, it's clearly because of my experience on Fringe. It's not the first time I've done science fiction, but I think when you say the genre, do you mean web series specifically?
Yes.
Well, I because of how the market's changing. It's interesting. I had a meeting with J.J. Abrams' agent about a year and a half ago, and he was J.J. was kind enough to make the introduction for me, and it was very interesting. He said, the thing that I'm finding is that, it's becoming, because of the way that technology is changing, it's becoming so much cheaper to make quality-looking films, and because of the way that the Internet is changing the way that people look at things, he said, I believe that people care less and less how big the screen is. And so, it's just, I don't mean to reiterate what you've said or to belabor the obvious, but I really do think that that's the direction that that's one of the directions that entertainment is going in, is along with kind of series on outlets like Netflix, and Amazon is beginning its own original content, and Hulu is doing the same thing. So I'm really excited about being able to become involved in the beginning of the cutting edge of why I think where entertainment is going, and an opportunity to move into an area that kind of is giving the artist, because of how easy it is, because of how available it is for viewers, because of how cheaply it can be, quality can be done. It's really kind of giving the artist an opportunity to maybe, possibly, let's hope, to take back some of the power.
And I certainly agree. I am seeing more celebrities really that are transitioning into, I consider it a different genre, a different outlet, because it's something that, initially, specifically with YouTube, it was just, more or less those of us at home who wanted to, be on camera at some point. So, and now, we have the trained actors, who are going this way, and I absolutely love it. I guess it's just like any other social media outlet when we started Twitter and, Facebook and all of those. I think that more and more actors are taking YouTube and the web series as a viable option for their careers.
I think it's really moving. It's moving in that direction very quickly.
Give us insight into Lance Reddick as an 18-year-old.
Wow. As an 18-year-old, I was kind of lost. I mean, I was, growing up, I was, well, I wasn't so much this way when I was very, very young, but early in elementary school, I became kind of shy, and I was kind of a nerdy kid. The only thing that was different about that was that I was somewhat of an athlete in junior high and high school. But other than that, I was kind of shy and awkward, and except for and I wasn't much of a student. I didn't read much and I didn't study much, But I always participated in music very heavily. So I started playing piano when I was 6, and my first year in college, believe it or not, I except for the one subject that I kind of always had an affinity for was math. So I majored in physics. I went to the University of Rochester my freshman year in college, and then while I was there, I realized that I really wanted to study music, and then I was kind of in denial. So I ended up applying to and transferring to the Eastman School of Music, and I was in conservatory for 4 years. And I left conservatory, and I studied classical composition there. And I left conservatory because I realized that I was in denial, and I really wanted to be a rock star. I always had been. I always had wanted that.
Okay.
So, as an 18-year-old, I was really still trying to kind of find myself.
Right. And my reason for asking that question is because sometimes we don't consider the past. We see a celebrity or we see someone who's highly successful as yourself, and we think instantaneous fame and fortune and all of the things that go along with it.
Oh, nothing like that. It's funny you say that. I'm really glad you bring that up because I think that my story I'm a classic late bloomer. Growing up, first of all, I never dreamed growing up that I'd be an actor. It didn't even occur to me as something to want to do. I came to acting very late. I was 27 when I started acting. I acted in college for fun, but I knew that I was good at it, but it was nothing I took seriously. And I really started acting out of desperation because my music career was failing. When I was 27, I found myself, my daughter was about a year old, and I found myself working 3 jobs 7 days a week. And a back injury after coming off of a double shifts of 2 different jobs in a row really led me to having to really kind of completely reevaluate my approach. And I started acting really as an act of desperation. I started acting because I thought it would help my music career, and then it slowly just took over my life. And then I applied to the drama school at Yale a year and a half later, really on a lark, and that's kind of a story in and of itself. And then I got in. And then because I had a family, once again, you never know where, because because I had a family, I was able to go because they gave me a lot of financial aid.
Wow, wow, and you in the, I guess the thing that I'm hearing the most is, okay, you went through your struggle. This wasn't an automatic, all right, I just walked into a room and they were like, we love you, you're going to be the next,
no, it's
always
never been.
the next.
No, I don't feel like there was ever. I mean, I feel that my career was kind of once I started acting, it was a fairly steady progression. Mm-hmm. So it was not it was not a steep slope. I mean, it was steady and fairly. Ironically, the only time I really felt like my career flatlined was when I got The Wire, which I thought was going to completely throw all the doors open.
Wow.
But yeah, it was all about, for me, hard work. One of the things that I said earlier that growing up, I never really, once I got into junior high and high school, I didn't study or read much, so I wasn't much of a student, and but when I went to Yale, after I'd been out in the world and have,
just a little.
yeah, just being another working class black man, when I went to Yale, I worked my butt off, because my whole thing was, how can I work harder than anybody else? What are they? I mean, it may sound a little atypical of kind of an artist mentality, but it was really, and I wasn't thinking about it that way at the time, because I like to think of myself as not being very competitive, but it was a very competitive attitude. I thought, what can I do that nobody else is doing to make me better than the next person? How can I work harder, and how can I work smarter?
Yeah. Lately I've been listening to a clip of Will Smith, and he said on the interview, and you've probably seen it, I'm not sure, but it's very inspirational and motivational. He was saying how he never thought he was the best actor, but where he will beat you is working, his work ethic. And he's just really saying, I will outwork you.
Oh, I have heard that. Yeah, I remember hearing him say that on Tavis.
Yes,
yeah.
and I think that's something that I take on every day, and I think anyone who has a dream or, aspires to be something, you have to put in the work.
Yes, it's funny because that story that Will tells, which I believe completely, I've heard over and over again from other major stars. I mean, I've heard that Quincy Jones said something very similar about Michael Jackson.
Yeah, but I think it gives our listeners, a point of reference. Listening to you and Will Smith and Quincy Jones and others who are basically saying this is not magic. There is opportunity. God opens doors, but you still have to put in the work. It can't just be I just showed up. Sometimes it is I just showed up.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it is.
But you definitely have to put in the work to get, to the level, to your level of success.
Well, I mean, I feel like I'm still working to keep, moving to another level. But yeah, the thing that I found consistently that I had to do was just I think is exactly what you said, put in the work.
Now, we definitely want to talk about Won't Back Down.
That's right, we can't get out of here without talking about that.
We cannot get out of here without talking about Won't Back Down. It seems to be, and I've looked up information on the movie, and it seems to be, I guess, transitioning into a very controversial film about our modern-day school system and how our youth are being educated. When you took on your role, did you think that this would be as controversial as it's becoming?
I thought... It's interesting. I actually... The funny thing about it is I did 2 films last summer, and both of them were not films that I did because of the role. I did them that normally I wouldn't necessarily have done them for the role. I did them because of the script. And this was one of them. And the script was so good. I mean, I remember thinking, and I even said this to my manager and my wife at the time. I said, after reading it, I thought, they're still making movies like this in Hollywood. I thought those days were over. I mean, movies of such. I mean, and at the time also, I didn't realize that technically it was an independent film. I thought it was a studio film, and because it's so substantive, it's so important socially, and it's so well written. And then when I found out who was, basically they said, you got an offer to play Viola Davis' husband. I said, what?
Sure.
Wow, let me think. Yeah.
It didn't take long to say yes on that one. Sure.
Yeah, I think for a little bit, only because because I wasn't sure. You know what I mean? Actors are egotistical, and so you always kind of want the thing where it's going to be about you. But I just felt like it was so important to be part of something and to be able to share the screen with Viola, because I've been an admirer of hers. I mean, the first time I ever met Viola was 15 years ago. Oh my goodness, it was more than that. It was almost 20 years ago. I don't want to get too specific, but we did a staged reading together about 6 months at the public, about 6 months after I'd gotten out of drama school. And then the next time I saw her, I was in the audience when she was starring on Broadway in Seven Guitars, which was her first Tony Award. And so, I've been an admirer of hers for years, and so there was that element. But I don't want to get too caught up into that, because I do want to talk about the significance of the film. I thought that it would be an important film. It wasn't until I saw it that I thought, wow, this is going to push a lot of people's buttons. This is going to be a controversial film.
And it
was the first time that I got a little scared.
Yeah, it's definitely becoming a very controversial film in terms of the unions and the teachers and, how the parents play a role as well as the community.
Yeah.
And what I do believe is that controversy oftentimes provokes conversation. Is that one of the things that you guys hope that comes out of this film?
Well, it's one of the things, I haven't actually talked to the producers or the director about that, but I can't imagine that they don't. I mean, why make a film like this? And for me, that's the. Let me say this, because I feel that because of how the entertainment industry has developed, particularly over the last 10 years, and there's so much tentpole entertainment for entertainment's sake, and celebrities that are famous for being celebrities, that we forget that in some ways the film of art, the art of filmmaking came out of the art of theater, and the art of theater and playwriting, in theater as it pertains to plays, really is about exploring the human condition. And so to feel like I'm really in a piece of really, really, really socially relevant art that's purpose is to spark conversation, I'm really, really thrilled about, and a little nervous.
Now, when you say nervous, what makes you nervous? The response to the film in terms of the controversy about it, because I'm just going to be honest with you.
I'm afraid unions are going to be mad at us. And I personally don't think that the film is about bashing unions at all. I think it's about trying to fix a system that's broken. And being an actor, I'm a member of 3 unions, and I know that I wouldn't be able to earn a living. I believe that I wouldn't be able to earn a living if I wasn't. So I support unions completely. But by the same token, I think that we're in a situation now where children aren't being served by the way the interaction of the school boards and the unions, the way those relationships are happening. I think the people that aren't being served are the people who it's supposed to be about, which is the children.
Exactly. So as you were reading this script, you said that really attracted you to even saying yes to the film.
Oh, I was just so impressed with the script. I was surprised.
Was there a wow moment my wow moment, I have not seen the film yet. I've just seen the trailer, and really my wow moment was the beginning of the trailer where the young lady is saying, we're late, and then the daughter says, this school doesn't care. And Maggie Gyllenhaal says, I care. That was my wow moment. So while you were reading the script, where was your wow moment? Like, this is something that I have to do, and this is something that hopefully changes the face of education in America.
Well, I mean, I have to tell you, I never had those kind of wow. I mean, I had wow moments like dramatically reading it, but I never had wow moments about those. Even choosing it, I went back and forth a little bit because of my ego. Do you know what I mean? Wanting a kind of a bigger role. Mm-hmm. But it really, for me, so it was a deliberation a bit, and even then, knowing, it's interesting. It was a little more dynamic with The Wire, but where I felt like I just had to be in the show, even though without even knowing what role I should play. But by the same token, like with The Wire, I had no idea the impact that it would have. I mean, I thought it would be a great show. I thought it would be a brilliant show, but I had no idea it would have the kind of impact that it's had all over the world and in the entertainment industry. And I have to say, I'm almost embarrassed to say that, I didn't realize. I thought I realized what I was getting into, but I didn't really until I saw it come to life on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there was so many wow moments. There were just so many, and for me, there was. I just feel like I feel like I almost can't say because I don't want to give any spoilers, but the last moment of the film I left me in tears.
Oh wow!
It was so much. It was like there's hope.
And there is hope, and that's one of the things that I'm hoping. That people walk away with. We may not always agree on the way in which things are done, but my perspective is let's get them done. I happen to be an aunt of a autistic child. My nephew has autism, and I've felt that even though he's not physically my child, he is my nephew.
Yes,
And I've been in the school system where I'm thinking, no, he's not going to this school. You won't keep him in this school. And I've had that dynamic where I had to kind of calm myself first, and really kind of let the school system know he is going to be somebody. He already is somebody. So stop waiting for him to be somebody.
Yes.
And so when I think of a film like this, and again, I have to admit I have not seen the film yet, and I plan on going to see it. It evokes a lot of different emotions, and maybe that's why the beginning of the trailer, we're late, and the young lady says, this school doesn't care. I have felt that. So I applaud you, even though there was hesitation and you weren't sure about where to land on this, and I believe in unions as well. I'm actually from Michigan. So, of course, unions. You can't not believe in unions if you're from Michigan. I just believe that. So, with that being said, I applaud you for taking that step, despite ego and everything else that surrounded the decisions. You took a step and a stand to say, you know what, we're going to do this film. I'm going to be a part of this film, and, hopefully, as I said, the controversy will provoke great conversation, not a yelling match, but a conversation on how we can do better for the children in America.
Yes.
Now, is there something else you want to tell us about the film? We know it starts on the 28th. You guys have Rosie Perez. I have to ask, how was it working with Rosie?
It's interesting. I didn't have any scenes with Rosie.
No.
So, but there were two. I remember I met her once on set, and then I was in the press line with her briefly last night at the Urban World Film Festival.
Yes, I have pictures of it. One of our hosts was there.
Oh.
So, definitely, we're glad you guys were able to premiere the film there yesterday as well. I want to thank you. I know you're a busy, busy man. You have about 10 projects coming up. And definitely, as you continue on in your career, this door is always open. You've definitely enlightened us and given us a lot of information. And again, the movie opens on September the 28th, and Fringe begins its final season. Is that correct? On September 28th as well?
Yes.
All right, wonderful.
And check me out on collegehumor.com on September 20th as well.
Oh, my goodness, collegehumor.com.
Yes.
All right. Well, we will certainly do that. And, come back on the show. Tell us more about Drone. We would love to hear more about your web series as well, and St. Sebastian, and all of the things that you're continuing to do in the theater. Hopefully we'll see you on Broadway soon again as well.
I have been thinking a lot. It's funny because I'm in New York for the premiere of Won't Back Down, and I happened to see, I went to a play this afternoon that Amy Ryan was in called Detroit. The performances were fantastic.
Oh, wow.
Made me realize how much, well, I've been thinking about this a lot anyway lately, but how much I really need to get back to the stage.
I would love to see it, and I'm sure your many, many, many millions of fans would definitely love to see you back on Broadway as well. Thank you so much for taking a moment to spend with us and investing your time here on Your 15 Minutes Radio. Hopefully we didn't keep you too long, but we appreciate the conversation.
Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a good evening.
You do the same.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Once again, you're tuned in live to Your 15 Minutes Radio. We have just had a wonderfully dynamic conversation with Mr. Lance Reddick. He is in the upcoming film Won't Back Down. We want you guys to go out and check out this film. We know it's full of controversy. There's teachers versus the community versus parents. And one thing about all of this is that we must have a conversation in terms of educating our children. They are our children. Whether you birth them or not, that does not matter. They are our children. And we have to see to it that they get the best education, the best start in life that they can, so that they can go on and be productive citizens of our community, and reach the heights in which they have been destined to reach. So I'm certainly excited to see the film Won't Back Down. It stars Viola Davis, Lance Reddick, Rosie Perez, Maggie Gyllenhaal. It's going to be a film that we have to have a conversation about. Not the yelling, not the strife, not the us against them, the red against blue. It's not about that. It's about having an authentic conversation about not only how did we get here in terms of education, but where do we go from here. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in and calling in, and your love and support of Your 15 Minutes Radio, your support of Lance Reddick, and this film Won't Back Down. Even if you're not supporting the film, support the conversation, that the film provokes. So I want to thank you guys for that. I want to thank his management and everyone else involved. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to Your 15 Minutes Radio Network. We love you, we love you, we love you, we love you, and there is nothing you can do about it. We will see you guys tomorrow, of course, is in the Spotlight with Jamie Alexander, so we want you guys to tune in. And then on Monday, Authentically Me with Kim Beatty, and Tuesday, I'll be back, and Wednesday, the guys will be back, Brand This, with Sean Walker and Reed Stone. So tune in, always tune in live here at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Your 15 Minutes Radio Network. Thanks so much, and we'll see you on the other side of the microphone.
Blog Talk Radio, where millions of hosts and listeners gather.